Hey everyone, it's Richie. Hope you guys are all doing well. With Pokemon Legends ZA's first rank season coming to a close very soon, I believe under a week, I wanted to put together a tier list sort of video of all the Pokemon in the game currently performing in ranked, but also in tournament play. This is mostly going to be based off of tournaments. If you don't know me, which probably the majority of you don't, hi, my name is Richie. I'm a competitive Pokemon ZA player, or at least I'm trying to be. I've been playing in tournaments ever since the game came out, and in the vast majority of the tournaments, I've been able to secure top 4 finishes and even winning one of them, so that's pretty cool. Most of them were 16 player, a couple 32 player tournaments as well. Big shout out to That's a Plus One for hosting the majority of these, although I did also play in one of Parker VGC's tournaments, which will be held on Tuesday regularly, so that's pretty cool. Discords that I play in will be linked in a pinned comment, so go check that out. Anyway, that being said, I get decent results in tours, and I'm helping the scene grow, so I would consider myself a decent player. That being said, I wanted to put out this tier list. Like I said, this is going to be based on mostly my tournament play experience. I'm going to factor ranked in a little tiny bit, but honestly, rank doesn't matter in this game. You could get rank A with like a fucking Pidgey. Anyone who says like, oh, I got rank A with this team, honestly, that doesn't really mean anything, man. I gotta be honest. A lot of other people have been making tier lists for this game, but they're not really like tournament players, so I figured it would be cool for someone who's been playing in tournaments and involved in the scene to give their own 2 cents. I'm not saying I'm better than anyone else, I'm just saying, well, at least I have some data to back my opinion up, you know? That being said, let's go over a quick explanation of tiers here before we get into the video. This bottom tier is the not legal tier. Anything here is just not available to use in ranked battle and by an extension, tournaments. So yeah, no tournament play is pretty self-explanatory. All the mons here I have not seen in my tournament runs, pretty much at all. Doesn't mean that they're necessarily bad, it just means I haven't seen them in tournament. I have seen them in ranked a couple, but again, I'm prioritizing tournaments here over ranked because ranked is kind of a joke, and tournaments are pretty much the most competitive environment for this game at the moment. Above that, we have a couple of other tiers. Outclassed are Pokemon that I have seen in my tournament runs, but I think aren't as good picks as the ones above them. Niche are mons that aren't necessarily outclassed by the people above them, but have a harder time being put into teams than the mons above them. They're not necessarily bad, and they're definitely not completely outclassed. It's just they're very specific, and if you're putting them on a team, it's because you want something very specific out of them that not another Pokemon can do. Solid picks will be Pokemon that are pretty splashable for the most part. Well, splashable is not the right word, but I guess you're going to see a lot of anti-meta stuff here. They're not going to be in every single game you play, but like these are very good choices for you to bring on your team. And then meta defining is like, this is the meta. Like this is absolutely stuff that you need to prepare for. You expect to see these Pokemon like every single game that you play. So yeah, that being said, let's start yapping. Our first Pokemon here is Mega Meganium, and something else real quick, final disclaimer, I am ranking Mega Pokemon separate from their base form, because there are a couple cases where their base form sees no play, but the Mega does, or vice versa. So yeah, normal Meganium sees 0 tournament play, but Mega Meganium, however, I would put Mega Meganium probably in niche. What this thing does is set up screens, but I think it's a little bit difficult to make an argument for Mega Meganium as opposed to something like, I don't know, Gardevoir or Metagross or Ampharos. Being a screen setter that resists ground is pretty cool. Being able to resist EQ is kind of a big deal because it's kind of everywhere, but I think the real thing that holds Mega Meganium back is just how bad the base form is. Like, your stats are not good at all. After Mega Evolving, you do hit pretty hard with like base 145 special attack and 103 in both defenses, if I remember correctly. But yeah, the fact that your base form is so bad, it really hurts this mon. If you need specifically the toolset that Meganium provides, being a screen setter with a ground resist and fairy coverage and stuff like that, and it's not a bad choice. Otherwise, I think there are other more splashable screen setters that would fit on more teams. Next up is Emboar, and honestly, if you asked me like a couple days ago, I would have put Emboar in like outclassed or niche, but I'm putting this in solid picks because in one of the tournaments that I played, there were 2 Emboars in top 4, and that made me realize, yo, this mon is not bad at all. So Emboar's main competition is Zard X as an offensive Mega Fire type Pokemon, and honestly, I think this thing sets itself apart from Zard really well. Firefighting is a pretty nice offensive combination, and you also have access to Wild Charge, which Zard X doesn't. You do both get Thunder Punch though, so yeah, there is that. You also have access to Bulk Up, so you are a little bit bulkier. You can take physical hits better than Zard X can, although Zard X gets SD, so take that as you will. I think Emboar is a very real offensive threat. I think it is a solid pick. I think people are sleeping on this mon. Legit. I think it's really good. It destroys Metagross. It destroys a lot of things. It does a lot of damage after a Bulk Up. Legit. This thing is good. People are sleeping on Emboar. Do not sleep on Emboar. This thing does a lot of damage. Finally, to round off the starters, let's talk about Gator. I would put Gator in niche, probably. I have seen some Gators do well. A couple tournaments ago, there was one that made top 4, another one in top 16, I think. Talking about That's His Tours in that case. Yeah, Mega Gator is pretty cool. Being able to not be weak to Dragon before you Mega is cool, and resisting Ice before you Mega is also pretty cool. I don't think you get Dragon Rush, unfortunately, but you do have Outrage, which hits very hard after Swords Dance. Aqua Jet is also a pretty cool move. I think it's really underrated. It's hard to react to. You kind of suffer from 4 move slot syndrome, because like, okay, if I do Aqua Jet, Liquidation, or Waterfall is better, and Outrage, my last move is SD, so then I can't slot an Ice Fang to deal with Garchomp, so you can't really fit Aqua Jet a lot of the time, which is a shame because I think it's a good move. Gator is definitely niche, but like if your team needs an offensive Water Dragon physical attacker, like this thing is legit. It's not a bad choice at all. You can hit hard, and the fact that you don't have a lot of speed, again, doesn't really matter in this game. Speed is not a big of a factor in Pokemon Legends ZA as it is in most of their Pokemon games. So yeah, I think Gator is good. I just think it's niche, and it's not going to fit on every team. Definitely not. Next up, let's talk about Talonflame. I think this is another sleeper pick. I'm putting Talon in solid picks. I really like this Mon. I've been playing around with Talon a lot without giving away too much about what my next tournament team, although people in said Discords are going to know already. Talonflame is a non-mega option for like offensive fire type. It is really frail, but after Swords Dance, Flare Blitz and Brave Bird are hitting really hard with the Life Orb. Yeah, you do kind of kill yourself like every single attack, like you do a ton of damage to yourself, but dude, you don't really get rewarded for staying alive in the ranked mode or in this, you know, in this game mode. Honestly, who cares? As long as you're taking knockouts, it's totally worth it. This thing being as fast as it is means it has no trouble catching up to other Pokemon to use its moves as well, makes it hard to dodge. I think Talonflame is a super solid Pokemon, legit. Do not sleep on this thing. I feel like this is another sleeper pick. Japan knows how good this thing is. They've been glazing the hell out of it, but I feel like us in the West, we've been sleeping on this thing, man. I personally like Protect on it as well since it's so frail. SD Protect has been working wonders for me. Next up, let's talk about Ampharos, and this is going to be our first mon that goes into meta defining. I'm going to put Mega Amphi there as well because I see both normal Ampharos and Mega Ampharos a lot. So why is Ampharos so good? Well, this is probably one of the best screen setters in the entire game, right? Charge plus Thunderbolt hits ridiculously hard. Like, even though normal Ampharos only has a special attack of 115, which is like okay, but it's not earth-shatteringly high, Charge doubling the power of your Thunderbolt means it does ridiculous damage. You can one-shot neutral Pokemon straight up. Like, if they're not super bulky on the special side, you're just gonna fucking destroy them. Also, not to mention, of course, this should go without saying, this is obliterating Gyarados. Like, even with, like, Light Screen up or a Wackenberry, it's dead. So that's really good. Last tournament that I played, I think it was a Parker VGC's tournament, was the one before the last one I just played. I'm pretty sure Ampharos won the whole thing. The winning team had an Ampharos. I think it was Charged Thunderbolt as its only attack and with a Magnet as its item to further boost the power of the T-Bolt, and it was doing ridiculous amounts of damage. That thing is good, right? Like, dual screens Charged Thunderbolt is a very good set for Magnet Ampharos. If you're going Mega Ampharos, you probably want to slot Dragon Pulse in there to deal with the dragons and also to have some stab, but like your T-Bolt is hitting even harder. Like, especially if you run Charge, like Charge T-Bolt off of 165 special attack is actually like comical levels of power. That's insane. The only downside I can see to Ampharos is that it's kind of slow, so your move cooldowns are pretty long, but with the bulk and the power behind Thunderbolt, like it's well worth it. This is 100%, 1000% the best electric type in the game, one of the best screen setters in the game. You need to prepare for Ampharos, man. This thing is legit. It's hard to make a case for any other electric type over Ampharos if I'm being real. Like, this thing is that good. Anyone who's played online or played in tournaments, you know what I'm talking about, man. I don't have to talk about Ampharos all that much. It's crazy. Next up, let's talk about Gyarados, and I'm also going to put Mega Gyarados as well as its base form and meta defining. I have seen a very big drop off in Gyarados within the past couple of tournaments, I would say, probably because of the explosion of Ampharos everywhere, but don't let that fool you. Gyarados is still very good. Being a flying type in Legends ZA is really good. It's like the only way to be completely immune to Earthquake, since I don't think Magnet rises in the game, and you know, no one gets it anyway, and no abilities are in the game and such. But being a flying type, again, being immune to Earthquake is really nice. You're quite bulky, especially on the special side, you know, like behind screens you can take a lot of stuff. Just a very reliable, bulky attacker that has great moveset options. You know, Waterfall, Bounce are good stab options in this game. Bounce is very good in this game, gives you a lot of iframes. Crunch is a good option for having a stab option after Mega Evolution. And I like Ice Fang personally. I think it's mandatory as the 4th move slot just to deal with the dragon types very well. Both Gyarados and its Mega Form are both all valid options. I've seen AV Gyarados. I've seen Wackenberry, of course. It's super common. Overall, I think it's a good Pokemon. It started to fall off a bit, so maybe, you know, you can make an argument to move it down one tier, but I still think it's very good. Although I will say, if you're using a Gyarados, it's almost mandatory to run it with a ground type because you really want a switch in for these electric type moves, because people are going to see your Gyarados and be like, oh, bet, free Thunderbolt, you know? So you want to switch in. Next up, let's talk about Mega Barbaracle. This is not a Pokemon that I was going to rank, but I did see in Parker VGC's tours. I saw one person using it, being Parker himself, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to put this... Where the hell do I put Mega Barbaracle, bro? Barbaracle losing Shell Smash in this game is really bad. I'm going to put it in Outclassed. I don't like this mon personally. Rock Fighting is an interesting stab combination. I don't think it's very good in the current meta as an offensive threat. Again, losing Shell Smash just really sucks. I don't even know if this thing gets Swords Dance. It probably gets Bulk Up though, so that's kind of cool. Again, just the loss of Shell Smash really hurts this thing, as well as the loss of Tough Claws, which base Barbaracle had, so it's kind of unfortunate. I will say you do quad resist, in base Barbaracle form, you do quad resist fire, and Grass type is not at all common right now, so you don't care about your 4x weakness. So if fire picks up within like the coming, format, I think Barbaracle could legit have a niche as a quad fire resist. But as it stands right now, I don't think it's particularly great. I think if you want an offensive fighting type, which is already like kind of shaky in my opinion, there are better options than Barbaracle. Again, the loss of Tough Claws and Shell Smash just really sucks, man. If Shell Smash is in this game, I would not be saying this. Next up, I want to talk about Mega Floette. I don't know where to put this thing. I think I'm putting it in niche, right? I've seen this like once in tournament. It's an interesting offensive fairy type, right? Like Calm Mind, because it has a signature move in Light of Ruin, and Light of Ruin does a stupid amount of damage, especially after Calm Mind, right? So I would say this thing definitely has a niche just because of that alone, but like your coverage sucks, man. Like it's really just fairy and grass moves. And like I explained with my example of base Barbaracle, like grass is not a common offensive type right now because it's not good. So the fact that you have like Energy Ball or Solar Beam like doesn't really matter, to be honest. It's almost like not even worth running, to the point where I've even seen like Synthesis on this mon, and I don't think healing moves are that good in this game, so that should tell you kind of how bad its offensive move pool is. I don't think it gets Focus Blast or anything like that, so kind of unfortunate. It's kind of just like a fairy one trick, which is why I'm putting it in niche, right? Like if this thing got Earth Power, oh my god. If this thing got Earth Power, I think it'd be a demon. Like it would legit be a demon. If we got like Earth Power and T-Bolt on this mon, yo, this thing would be legit as hell, right? But its lack of coverage, I think, is what really hurts Mega Floette. It's what really lets it down. So yeah, that's my consensus on Floette. I mean, Fairy is a fine typing. Pure Fairy is fine, and hitting for fairy damage, as a type is good, but its coverage literally consists of just grass moves, and I think it gets Psychic, right? So again, the coverage is just really the unfortunate part. If this thing had good coverage, I think it'd be a demon, because Calm Mind is crazy, and its base special attack is good, and Light of Ruin is a nuts-ass move, but just only hitting for fairy just really sucks, man. That's unfortunate. Next up, I want to talk about Mega Pyroar. I'm going to put Mega Pyroar in Outclassed. I do not see a reason to use this over Zard Y, personally. The only reason it's here is because I think someone did top cut with Pyroar once. But again, I just do not see a reason to use this thing over Zard. Normal Fire is not a good offensive typing. Like, Fire is fine, right? But like, normal, not so much. Mega Pyroar stats also just kind of let it down a little bit. The Game Freak was super lazy with this thing. They just gave it plus 20 and everything. I think that's lame and boring and stupid, honestly. So yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to say about Pyroar. Its move pool is okay. I think it gets some decent coverage like Earth Power, Solar Beams. But again, I do not see a reason to use this thing over Zard Y personally. I think Zard Y is the premier special attacking fire type Mega. I don't see a reason to use Pyroar over it. Sorry. Next up, I want to talk about the Raichus. I would also probably put the Raichus in Outclass. I'm going to put a Alola Raichu here as well, even though I have not seen Alola Raichu in tournaments, so really it should be a no tournament play, but I have seen Raichu once, so I figured I'd talk about Alola Raichu too, since I'm kind of baffled why Alola Raichu isn't seen over Raichu, since it has more special attack. But Raichu's kind of cool. It can set up Light Screen, I think it can Charge plus Thunderbolt as well, but hey, Ampharos can set up Reflect at the same time, which Raichu can't do, and then it also has 10 more special attack, actually no, 20 more special attack than base Raichu. Like, Raichu's gonna get a big buff when its Mega comes out, but as it stands right now, I don't see a huge reason to use it. Getting Surf is cool though, I will say, getting Surf is pretty cool, but again, wait for Mega Raichu Y. I would not use Raichu over Ampharos personally. I think it's Outclassed. Next up, let's talk about Clef. I would put Clef into solid picks personally, and that includes its Mega Form. The stats for Clefable is underwhelming. I feel like Clef is a bit of a weird one, because I feel like this has always been a Pokemon that's been carried by its broken ability in like, Unaware and Magic Guard, and those are gone in this game. Clefable does have the advantage of having absolutely nuts coverage. It gets like Fire Blast, it gets like Thunderbolt, it probably gets Surf too, it gets Flamethrower, it gets maybe even Heat Wave. So it's kind of cool. Like, it has a lot of coverage. The problem is I don't think you're KOing a lot of stuff. You do have ways to boost with Calm Mind, right? Which is why I like Mega Clef, because Mega Clef has stats comparable to like a third stage evolution kind of, because honestly, normal Clefable stats are buns. Like I said, this mon is carried by its fairy typing and its abilities. But with Mega Clef, you get a decent stat boost, and after Calm Mind, you're dealing some decent damage. I've seen Expert Belt normal Clefable be thrown out as well, but I don't think it's as good. I think this mod can also set up screens, so I think it could be a valid screen setter as well. Overall, I think it's a solid pick. I wouldn't throw this on every team, but it has a niche. In fact, you can make an argument of moving Clefable down to niche. How about this? I'm going to put normal Clefable in niche, but I'll keep Mega up here because the extra stats I think really matter in this game. So yeah. Although I will say, getting the flying type, it's kind of a dual-edged sword in this game. Now you're immune to Earthquake, which is cool, but T-Bolt's going to blow you up. So next up is Mega Zam. And normal Alakazam, actually. I would put both of them in Outclassed. The only thing normal Alakazam is doing, in my opinion, is setting up screens, and there are far better screen setters. Mega Zam is interesting, right? Because you can, like, Nasty Plot, and you have a sky-high special attack stat, and now you're blowing shit up with Psychic and Focus Blast, right? But there are better ones to do that. Honestly, I think there are better Pokemon to do that. The main reason I say this is because like Mega Zam is like so frail on the physical side. It really sucks. The fact that you're so fast isn't really too relevant in this game. I don't know. So let's talk about Gengar. Normal Gengar, this should be in no tournament play. I don't know why I didn't put it in no tournament play. So, Mega Gengar, however, I have seen once, and honestly, yo, this thing went stupid when I saw it. After a Nasty Plot boost, you're doing ridiculous damage, which should be expected. Your attack stat, or special attack stat is like 170, like what the hell? But one move that really surprised me on this Mon, legit, was Icy Wind, right? Icy Wind was one-shotting my Mega Garchomp behind Light Screen after Nasty Plot. I know it's quite effective, and I know your special attack is sky high, dude, but that's a 40 base power move, and it one-shot my Mega Garchomp behind Reflect, or behind Light Screen. I saw that in tournament, and I was like, yo, what the fuck? I'm a lot less confident in its Poison Stab. Like, Sludge Wave is okay, but it has, like, range around you, which is not ideal for a Pokemon like this, and Sludge Bomb is really mid. So is Shadow Ball, to be honest, but this thing gets Thunderbolt. Like, I think it's super valid to drop your Poison Stab just to run Thunderbolt, because Poison Stab, as an offensive, type combination isn't super good in the meta right now. So I think a moveset of, like, Nasty Plot, Shadow Ball, Icy Wind, and Thunderbolt could really cook with this guy. You are a little bit frail on the physical side, I'm pretty sure, but, like, your special attack stat is just so high, and you're decent on the special side, in terms of bulk. I think this thing is better than Zam, personally, just because, like, yeah, both of these guys can Shadow Ball, and yeah, Zam does have, like, Psychic Stab that locks on, but the fact that that Icy Wind tech is so real, dude. The fact that you can, like, pretty much one-shot the dragons after a Nasty Plot is really cool. Mega Gengar is legit. I've only seen it once, and it's niche, and I wouldn't put this thing on every team, but if you build around it, this thing it can be really oppressive, legit. That special attack stat is just so fucking high. Okay, next up I'm going to talk about Aegislash. And honestly, I'm going to put Doublade in niche, and I'm putting Aegislash in outclassed, right? I'm putting Doublade in niche because I saw Doublade exactly once, and with the Eeveelite, it can actually be pretty bulky and do stuff with the Swords Dance. Aegislash, on the other hand, is absolute balls. The only reason that I didn't put it in no tournament play is because some crazy-ass dude got top 4 at one of That's' recent tournaments with an Aegislash. I don't know how the fuck you did that. Shout out to you, man, because Aegislash is buns in this game. This mon is terrible. The way they handled stance change in this game just nerfs this guy to oblivion. Whenever you want to use, like, a physical move and you're in your shield form or vice versa, you have to wait for Aegislash to change stance, which takes forever, and then the move comes out. This also means that King's Shield is not frame when invincible, unlike Protect, because you have to go into your shield form first, which is like, what? Why? Thinking of using Protect to bypass this? Nope, you can't even do that, because if you use Protect on Aegislash and he's in his Blade form, he'll stay in his Blade form. Like, what the fuck? They neutered this Pokemon, dude. The stats are good, and especially they work very well with stance change, but stance change is just so slow in this game that this mon just does nothing. Doublade, on the other hand, is still really bulky thanks to Eeveelite, and after Swords Dance, you can do some stuff with, like, Shadow Sneak, Iron Head shenanigans. I think that mon has a niche. I don't think it's great, but it has way more of a niche than, like, Aegislash, dude. Aegislash sucks, and it's unfortunate. They really need to rework how stance change works in this game, although it's the Pokemon Company, so I doubt they'll touch it, but oh well. Alright, next up, let's talk about Manectric. If you know me, you know this is my GOAT, but I'm putting him in outclassed. Manectric is the first Pokemon that I won a tournament with, or at least one of the first Pokemon that I won a tournament with. My first tournament winning team was Manectric, Excadrill, and Gyarados. It's, one of the videos on my channel. You can go check that out. For the tournament players that play alongside of me, Manectric is... I'm the Manectric guy, but I've stopped using him recently, and for good reason. I think Manectric is just outclassed. For similar reasons as Raichu, I mean, you do have 10 more special attack than Raichu does, and you are kind of like a fast charge Thunderbolt user compared to Ampharos, but I think you would rather just be able to set up dual screens with Ampharos and have a faster, or a more powerful, Thunderbolt charge combination. I will say that Manectric does get Overheat and Flamethrower, which Ampharos doesn't, but still, I mean, like, Flamethrower off of Mega Manec is only doing like 50% to the relevant steel types like Excadrill and Metagross anyway, even less if they have Light Screen up, so I don't feel great about it. And then Overheat is not as good of a move in this game if you're relying on your special attack, because then you drop your special attack for a significant period of time. So it forces you to either, like, switch, or you have limited switches in this game, or I don't know, man. Manec just has too many problems. I made it work, right? I made it work with a moveset of Charge, Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, and Protect. It did decently well. And, when I actually won with it, I had Flamethrower over Charge, right? So, I mean, it's not an unplayable mon by any means. You can make it work. I just think that not using it over Ampharos will forever just not be optimal, personally. I tried out Mega Manec, I tried out Magnet Manec, and I just think Ampharos is the better Pokemon, man. Provides more utility for your team with dual screens, and does the same thing Manectric does with Charge Thunderbolt, but better, because you're hitting harder. The only thing Manectric has over Ampharos is the same thing that Raichu has, which is faster cooldowns because of your higher base speed, but that's really it. Next up, let's talk about Guardy. And I'm going to put normal Guardy into solid picks, and I'm going to put Mega Guardy into meta defining, right? Next up is Gardevoir, and honestly, base Gardevoir should also probably be in like no tournament play. Mega Gardevoir though, Mega Gardevoir is going to meta defining for 100%. I've seen Mega Guardy with like dual screens, I've seen it with Calm Mind 3 attacks. I think both sets are pretty good. This thing hits really hard after a Calm Mind boost, and your coverage is good, right? You have Mystical Fire, you have Thunderbolt, so you can deal with Gyarados, you can deal with Steel types as well if they're not super bulky on the special side, especially after a Calm Mind, right? And your stab combination is pretty good too. Like you have Psyshock, you have Psychic, which are both great moves. You have Psybeam for long range poke. And over on the fairy side of things, you have Draining Kiss if you want to go for more bulkier build with Calm Mind. You got Moonblast, you got Dazzling Gleam. This is a good Pokemon. It's a good Pokemon. Both offensively and as a screen setter, I think Guardy's a super solid pick. Especially when ZA first came out, like this was one of the premier special attackers of the format. I think it's fallen off a bit, and it definitely is going to fall off probably more when Xerneas comes out, because Xerneas is probably going to become the premier fairy type. But for now, I think it's perfectly good. I think this thing is perfectly usable. Some Eeveelutions here. Let's talk about Vaporeon. I'm going to put Vaporeon in niche. I saw it once, and it was kind of cooking. Calm Mind sets can be pretty cool in this thing. You get Hydro, you get Ice Beam. Vaporeon is kind of cool because it's like a non-mega special ranged water type, and I feel like that's not too common in this game. And your bulk is pretty good as well. So I think Calm Mind Vaporeon is really niche. Like your team has to really want a ranged special attacking water type, but it's decent. It's legitimately decent. Jolteon is an interesting case. I don't know whether to put this in niche or outclassed. I think I'm going to put it... Yeah, I'm putting this thing in outclassed too, right? Like, the thing that kills Jolteon for me is I don't think you get charge, and that really sucks, right? Personally, again, I do not see a reason to use Jolteon over Ampharos. Like, I'm sorry, all these special attacking electric types, man, I don't see reasons to use them over Ampharos. Ampharos is bulkier, it can set up both screens, which is a huge deal. A lot of these electric types can only set up light screen, but Ampharos gets reflect as well. And I don't think Jolteon gets both of them. So yeah, man, I'm sorry. Everything I said about Manectric is true for Jolteon, only you don't even get fire coverage at that point. So, I mean, Ampharos existing just kind of makes everything else worse. So, yeah. Next up is Glaceon, the last of the Eeveelutions, and this thing is going to solid picks. 100% is going to solid picks. This is a super nice anti-meta Pokemon. Calm Mind Ice Beam plus Freeze Dry deals with a lot of stuff, destroys the dragons, destroys Gyarados, and off of 130 base special attack, you will deal a lot of damage to even neutral targets. Now, Glaceon's biggest downfall is that its move pool is complete and total dog water, to the point where pretty much like the most viable offensive set is just Calm Mind plus 3 Ice Moves, or 2 Ice Moves Protect, or 2 Ice Moves Shadow Ball, and then you use a Never Melt Ice as your item, because you get literally 0 coverage outside of Shadow Ball. The situation is dire. But honestly, that's enough, because Freeze Dry is hitting water types for super effective, which means it's blowing up Gyarados. Even like Mega Gyarados after Calm Mind is going to get smacked. And the dragons, I mean, dude, don't even get me started on like Garchomp or Dragonite or anything like that. Like, they're just going to get obliterated. Glaceon is a nice anti-meta Pokemon. I wish it got like T-Bolt. Next up, let's talk about Big Hippo. I tried out Big Hippo recently, and personally, I wasn't too much of a fan, but I think it's a solid Pokemon. This thing is good. I think someone with Hippowdon recently did, I've seen it at top 4 a couple times. It's a good mon. This is a good mon. It's very defensive. You can take physical hits extremely well, especially if you're running a Curse set. The Hippo that won a tour recently, I don't think was Curse, but Curse is super good on this mon because you boost your attack, you boost your defense, you can eat physical hits like nothing. This is a very good Garchomp switch in, like especially after Curse. They SD in your face, that's chill. You Curse in their face, and they're not doing that much damage to you, and you can threaten with Ice Fang. Now, Hippo was let down by its attack stat. It's not as high as I would want it to be because you cannot one-shot shit like Chomp with Ice Fang after a Curse, which is super unfortunate. But I still think it's good. Like, this thing is super defensive. It can take hits really well. Like, where it lacks in offense, it makes up in physical defensive prowess. The only issue is, like, after Curse, you take forever to walk around everywhere. This mon is so slow, it's ridiculous. But you do have gap closing options, like Dig, for example. That's, like, your only gap closer, but it's good. It's good. Dig, Earthquake, Ice Fang, Curse is a, decent option on this guy. You could also go like AV and drop Curse for something. Even without AV, you could totally drop Curse for a different move, like maybe another Elemental Fang or something like that, or Stone Edge. And then there are a bunch of other good move options, like Expert Belt is good to try to pick up KOs on a Pokemon that you normally wouldn't otherwise, with less investment on your attack stat. Citrus Berry is good for longevity. That's personally my choice, but Expert Belt is super legit as well. Hippo is a very good option for a ground type. It's much more defensive than the rest of the ground types that see a lot of usage, but it's good. Like, that's a good trait. Let's talk about another ground type in the format that's very good, Excadrill. Specifically Mega Excadrill. I've never seen this thing without a Mega Stone personally. I used it. This thing is much more offensive than Hippo with base 165 attack stat after Mega, and even before Mega you're hitting 135, which is more than Hippo, so yeah. Of course you're not anywhere near as physically bulky, so take that into account. You're not going to be sponging hits like super well like Hippo is, but you can hit really hard, right? Like you get Swords Dance, and after Swords Dance, Drill Run, Earthquake, Dig are your stab options on the ground side, and then for Steel type moves you have like pretty much just Iron Head, which is unfortunate because Iron Head is kind of bad in this game because the hitbox is really small. I was running Metal Claw on a tour, and there's even a funny clip of me saying, guys, Metal Claw's not a tech. I just don't have the Iron Head TM. It comes out faster and has a bigger hitbox, but the base power drop is just way too much. Like, I didn't even one-shot Glaceon after Swords Dance with Metal Claw. Don't use Metal Claw, use Iron Head. But anyway, the last move slot is pretty interchangeable. You can have 2 ground moves. You can go dual stab like that. You can go protect. Excadrill's coverage is not good. It's pretty much just like bug moves like Mega Horn. I think it gets Poison Jab too. I'm not sure. The coverage is not good, but that's okay because just spamming your stabs off of base 165 attack after Swords Dance is good. Being a ground type is good. You're immune to electric, which means you're a good switch into Ampharos, and being a ground type is good offensively at the moment. So it's good. It can also deal with fairies, of course, thanks to a secondary steel type, so Excadrill is solid. It's a very offensive ground type. Again, don't expect to sponge too many hits super well, unlike Hippo, but your damage potential is much higher. So yeah, I like this thing. Also, I want to shout out Drill Run real quick because it has the fastest startup out of Dig and Earthquake, and it's still a good move at 80 base power. So anything that gets Drill Run is pretty sweet. I like Drill Run a lot as a ground move. Next up, let's talk about Garchomp, and this should be a no-brainer to anyone who's been playing this game. Garchomp is ridiculous. Garchomp is a serious contender for the best Pokemon in the game right now. It's absolutely everywhere. Normal Garchomp with Yache Berry to live ice moves is legit. You know, you have base 130 attack. After a Swords Dance, you're doing a lot of damage with moves like Dig, like Dragon Rush, like Earthquake. You can fit Thunderfang to deal with Gyarados. You can do Stone Edge to deal with Megazard Y and Talonflame as well. It's just a ridiculous offensive threat that has a very good defensive typing in Dragon Ground, which is still a good offensive typing as well, because like Dragon is neutral against a lot of stuff and Steel type resistant, but that's chill because you got Earthquake with the Steel type, so it's like fire, right? SD Chomp is just a very scary offensive threat. It has good bulk, it hits hard, it's not even that slow. And Mega Chomp is just a whole different beast. I mean, you Swords Dance and you have base 170 attack, and you are going to be blowing shit up. Like, it's ridiculous. If you get hit by Earthquake and you're weak to it, like, you're just dead. And even neutral targets can get decimated a lot of the time if they're not very physically bulky. Like, Mega Garchomp is a completely different beast. Yes, you lose the utility of Yache Berry, so you can't take an ice move, like, at all, which kind of sucks, right? But you can mitigate that by running it behind screens to maybe take ice moves that you normally wouldn't. And again, like I said, like 170 attack with SD is just ridiculous. You know, like that's 5 more than even Mega Excadrill. So yeah, it's really good. Chomp is one of the best Pokemon in the game. I think Metagross Garchomp is a disgusting combo. A lot of people have said it's like the best core in the game, and honestly, it's hard to disagree. I mean, it's good. This is a hyper meta Pokemon, dog. Like, you got to be ready for Garchomp. Next up, let's talk about Mega Mawile. Now, right now, I would put Mega Mawile in niche. However, in the next format, I expect Mega Mawile to probably go up to solid picks. That's because its typing is ridiculously good. Steel Fairy is probably, like, single-handedly the best type combination in the entire game defensively. You have a shit ton of useful resistances. The best type in the game with Fairy and combined with the best defensive type in the game in Steel, like, it's so good. Being weak to EQ sucks, but this is still a very good mon. The loss of huge power sucks, but you do have 40 extra attack to compensate for that. The issue with Mega Mawile is just like base Mawile is so bad, right? It's a similar problem to like Mega Meganium where like the base form is just really bad, and that's actually a problem in a game like ZA because you need enough Mega Energy to Mega Evolve, right? So if you don't have enough Mega Energy, you've got to use the base mon. So like that's not a problem with turn-based mons because you can just Mega Evolve off rip and you don't use the shit mon. In ZA, that is actually a problem. Like if you have a bad base form, that's not very good. Of course, you could just never send out that Pokemon until your Mega's ready, and you know, that's perfectly valid. But then you're playing like a 2v3 a lot of the time, so that's why I wouldn't put Mawile into solid picks personally, yet. Right, when Xerneas and Yveltal, they get into the game, Mawile is going to resist all their stabs, and that's really, really cool. You do get blown up by Mega Delphox, so just be careful about that. In this regulation, what does Mawile do? Well, you're going to Swords Dance, you're going to play rough, you're going to Iron Head, and I think this thing gets the Elemental Fang, so you probably slot in like Ice Fang for the dragons, and it can be legit. It's a good offensive threat with a very good defensive typing, and I only expect Mega Mawile to get better. Next up, let's talk about Mega Lucario. I would also put Mega Lucario in niche. This thing is a good mix attacker. You have like base 140 something in both attacking stats. My problem with Lucario and Mega Lucario by extension is you are just so frail. Mega Lucario is famously one of the most broken megas in like turn-based Pokemon for like Smogon singles because like all its Mega form did was just juice up its attacking stats and its speed, which is like broken of course in that game, right? Speed is broken in that game because you move before your opponent, and then after Nasty Plot or Swords Dance you're like one-shotting them, and then you have priority and like Vacuum Wave and Bullet Punch, and like it's ridiculous, and you have adaptability, right? But like in this game it's like, okay, speed isn't as good anymore because it's, not turn-based. And then like you lose adaptability, which sucks, right? And you still have all your good moves, but now you're like really frail, right? Like your bulk on Mega Lucario sucks. Like normal Lucario has like, I think 70, 78, 78 bulk, and Mega Lucario changes nothing. I think you get like 10 more defense and you go to 88, right? Like that's it. That is pitiful, dude. That is horrible bulk. It means that behind screens, unless you're behind screens, you're just going to get blown the fuck up by any super effective move. That's a really bad trait for a Mega Evolution to have, right? The trade-off to this is that your damage potential is pretty high. You have like, you know, base 140 something attack or special attack, and you could boost on both ends of the spectrum. You get Swords Dance and Nasty Plot, and you have really good stab moves and, you know, coverage moves for both ends of that. So like your moveset is good, and you know, your offensive stats are good, but the bulk is just really what lets Lucario down, and because of that, I don't think it fits on every team. You really have to work to make this thing actually function. Part of me wants to move it to outclassed, honestly. Mega Bro. Yo, Mega Bro is underrated. I'm going to put this thing in niche. Your defense stat is really cool, and after a Calm Mind, you can blow a lot of shit up. You have Surf, you have Ice Beam, you do good damage, and Mega Bro has the advantage of being a bulky attacker, right? Like, you're going to see me talk about a lot of other, like, special attacking water-type Mega Evolutions, like Blastoise and Greninja. Mega Slowbro is the most defensive of the three, for sure. Like, you have really nice bulk, and after Calm Mind, you're hitting pretty hard. So, yeah. I don't even know if this mon gets Nasty Plot. That might even be better, but yeah, I think Mega Slowbro has a niche, for sure. I think it's usable. This mod is perfectly usable. Let's talk about Mega Eeveelutions, right? Mega Eeveelutions, I would actually put in niche. This is the first electric type that I'm not putting in outclassed. Why is that? Well, it's because it actually does not do charge Thunderbolt shenanigans. At least you can. Don't get me wrong, I'm pretty sure you get Charge, I'm pretty sure you get Thunderbolt, but what Eeveelutions does that no other electric type in this game does is be physical, at least until Mega Raichu comes out. But this thing gets Bulk Up, and it gets Wild Charge, and it gets Close Combat, and that's cool as hell. I think you might even get Earthquake on this mon, I'm not sure, but its physical move pool is not bad. Like, Eeveelutions' whole thing, right, like this mon's whole thing is that your move pool is insane. You have, like, you can do fucking anything, and that's kind of cool. And after a Bulk Up, it's pretty legit. I mean, like, your attack stat leaves something to be desired, don't get me wrong, but this thing has a niche that no other electric type can do, which is I'm an electric type that sets up and then hits on the physical side. Like, that's cool. We don't have anything else in the game that does that, and that's enough for me to put Eeveelutions in niche. I've seen this thing in top 8 before, so like it's not bad. You can make this work for sure. Okay, so Dragonite and its Mega Evolution. I would probably put both of them in niche. You could honestly make an argument to drop normal D-Knight to outclassed, because like normal D-Knight is probably just Swords Dancing. Yeah, in fact, I'm doing that. I'm sorry, just use Garchomp, bro. Mega D-Knight, on the other hand, is kind of, you know, it reminds me of Clefable, right? Where it's like you have a bunch of super good coverage, right? The difference between Mega D-Knight and Clefable is like, yes, Mega D-Knight has a lot more special attack, but Clefable can boost with Calm Mind, which means that you're actually hitting harder, I'm pretty sure, right? And you have the same good coverage that D-Knight has, right? And also you're not quad weak to Ice, which is a really big detriment for Mega Dragonite to have. The loss of multi-scale also really hurts, and personally, I think this mon is super niche. I don't see a whole big reason to use it. I tried it out on the ranked ladder, and I thought that shit was ass. I was missing KOs on so many mons. I don't like Mega Dragonite personally. In fact, yeah, you're going down there with your base form, bro. I'm sorry. I don't like Dragonite. I don't like Dragonite. I talked about it in like my other video, I'm pretty sure, but like I just don't like it. As the meta's developed, I don't think this mon is very good. But hey, I think it's just mid. I think it's outclassed. If you want to use a quad weak dragon, Garchomp is just like, why would you use anything else? I'm sorry, that's just my viewpoint right now. Yo, I forgot to tier Gallade, dude. Let's go back and let's do Gallade. I'm putting Gallade in niche. Gallade is cool. You get Swords Dance, you can hit really hard with like Close Combat and Psycho Cut. Pretty cool. You have the Elemental Punches, so you can deal with Gyarados, you can deal with Garchomp, you can kind of choose which one you want to deal with. Psychic Fighting is cool. It's a decent offensive typing. You're hitting a lot of stuff for neutral. And I have seen Mega Gallade get a little bit, tiny bit of success in tournaments recently, so I think it's perfectly usable. It's not my go-to pick for like a Swords Dance user at all, but you can definitely make it work, 100%. Okay, moving on to the list, let's talk about the Kanto starters. I would put Venusaur in outclassed, not because it's a bad mon, right? Like, here's the thing with Venusaur. Venusaur is a weird Pokemon to put in unclassed, right? Here's the thing about Mega Venusaur, right? Like, Mega Venusaur is 100%, I'm convinced, the best offensive grass type in the game. The problem is, like, why are you using an offensive grass type? Like I talked about before with Barbaracle, like, grass type as an offensive, you know, type is just not in demand right now. Having a poison secondary step is cool to hit fairies, but again, it's not super relevant. You do have Earth Power on this mon, which is like one of its best traits, for sure, and you can boost with growth, and Solar Beam Plus is broken. I like Mega Venusaur. It is definitely the best offensive grass type, but like, again, my question to you is, why are you using an offensive grass type? The only grass type, legit, I think the only grass type in the entire game right now that is relevant is Mega Meganium, and it's not because of its offensive potential, it's because it's a decent screen setter. All right, time to talk about the Zard forms. So yeah, I put both Charizard forms in like solid picks. Like I said, Megazard X is like one of the premier physical fire-type megas. Its only competition, I think, is Emboar. There is Talonflame, of course, but Talonflame isn't a mega Pokemon. It's like a non-mega option for the role. Zard differentiates itself with from Emboar in the sense that like you have Dragon Rush and you have Fly, which are both iframe moves, and they're very good at chasing people down. And also, you don't get Bulk Up, but you do get Sword Stance, which is arguably a better boosting move depending on who you ask. Like, yeah, it's the same boost as Bulk Up, but you do retain the attack boost for longer, which can be relevant. And also, you can even go Overheat on Megazard X because you are a mixed attacker, which is kind of cool. You get Thunder Punch to deal with Gyarados, you have Dragon Rush Fly, and your stab options are pretty typical. You have Flare Blitz, you have Fire Punch, Earthquake as well. Like, the mon is just good, man. Megazard Y, in my opinion, is the premier special attacking fire-type threat. It's good. Your Flying Stab leaves something to be desired. I don't think you get Hurricane, and even if you did, I don't think it's a great move in this game, but Air Slash, it's okay, right? Solar Beam Plus is legit on this mon. I've even seen it like Tekken Thunder Punch, but like Heat Wave is just ridiculous, right? Like Heat Wave is just good. The loss of Drought hurts, don't get me wrong, but I've seen this mon cook. Premier special attacking Mega Fire type, 100%. All right, Mega Blastoise is a bit of a weird one. I would put this Pokemon in niche, right? So Mega Blastoise can be compared to Mega Slowbro in the sense that they're both bulky, mega, water-type Pokemon. Slowbro has a better boosting move in Calm Mind. Blastoise has to rely on a workup. You do get some coverage that Mega Bro doesn't get, though. Like, you get, like, Flash Cannon, you get Dragon Pulse, you get Dark Pulse, you get Aura Sphere, I think. Again, the loss of Shell Smash just hurts this mon as well, but it is what it is. It's a decent alternative to Slowbro. I'd seen it top cut once, which is why it's not in, like, zero tournament usage. Would I use it over Slowbro? I don't know. You can make an argument for this thing being in the outclassed tier, but I'm probably going to keep it in niche. I think it's a legit option over Slowbro. Mega Dragology is a weird one. The only reason this thing is in no tournament play is because I did top cut once. I would put this thing in outclassed. I do not see Mega Dragology like the reason to use it personally. Dragon Poison is a very cool typing. It is not it offensively. Like right now, it's just not it. Being able to hit the other dragons for super effective damage is cool with like Draco and shit like that, but Poison isn't that good. Also, the loss of adaptability just hurts so bad, man. Like, that was like Dragology's thing. You do have insane special bulk. I think you have like 159 special defense or like 169 or some shit. Like, it's crazy. I mean, offensively, man, it's just, this guy leaves a lot to be desired, I think. And in terms of dragon-type megas, I mean, again, like, Garchomp is just the GOAT right now. I don't see a reason to use Dragology personally. Ground Dragon is just a better typing right now than Poison Dragon, so yeah. Although I will say, again, when Xerneas, exists, right? If it takes over the meta, maybe Dragology is something, right? Because you can soak its hits very well with a special defense, and then you're threatening, like, I don't know, Sludge Bomb or Sludge Wave or some shit. So, yeah. Clawwitzers. I think this mon has seen one top 4, one top 8, I think. Either that or one top 16, one top 8. I'm not sure. I'm not going to put it in outclass, actually. I'm going to put it in niche. This thing with an Expert Belt or a Life Orb sounds like it could cook. You have Ice Beam, you have, like, Hydro Pump, you have, like, Aura Sphere. It's pretty cool. I don't think this mon can boost, unfortunately, and the loss of Mega Launcher also hurts, but this thing is cool. It's a decent, like, non-mega special attacking water type, kind of in the same vein as Vaporeon. It's not a bad choice. Like, I don't think it's a bad choice at all. It makes use of plus moves really well. Like, I think this is a perfectly usable mon. It's definitely niche, but it's usable. Goodra. Okay, I'd put Goodra in solid picks, right? This is another sleeper mon, I think, right? I think Expert Belt Goodra is super legit. You can tank a lot of shit on the special side, and your coverage is ridiculous, right? You got Fire Blast, you got Thunderbolt, you got Surf. I don't know if Muddy Water's in this game, but you might even have Hydro Pump, man. As your stab options, this mon is good. You have Flamethrower, I don't know if I mentioned that already, but Expert Belt Goodra is pretty cool. I like that a lot. AV is also a super valid set, because then you just turn into a ridiculous special sponge. It's really funny. Being a dragon type that's also not weak to ice, or at least not quad weak to ice, is pretty cool. That's another thing that I didn't mention with Zardex. Being a dragon type that's not weak to ice is pretty cool, but even being a dragon type that's just not quad weak to ice is nice, especially with Goodra's gargantuan special defense stat. You can probably tank an Ice Beam pretty well, right? Like, legit, Expert Belt Goodra probably wins the Glaceon matchup in a 1v1 if you get your Fire Blast off first, because Expert Belt's Fire Blast sounds like that shit is going to do a lot of damage. I believe it has a 50% chance to OHKO last time I checked the calc, which is just ridiculous. That's more, that's a 50% chance for a free point, bro. Like, that's insane. So I think Goodra's legit. It has a lot of defensive utility. Expert Belt means it has some good offensive potential. I think this mon's good. People are sleeping on Goodra, man. It's a good mon. Similarly, something I want to mention, I put Hisui and Goodra in no tournament play because I have not seen it at all, so I'm putting it down there, but I'm kind of struggling to see why Goodra is seeing some play, but Hisuian isn't. That's a little bit weird. Like, Hisuian sounds like it would also be good, but I suspect that its steel typing actually might be holding it back because Earthquake is so common. Maybe. Let's talk about Mega Frostlass. I would put Mega Frostlass in either niche or outclassed. I think I'm going to put it in niche. So here's the thing about Mega Frostlass, right? Like, you have a pretty interesting stab combination of Ice and Ghost. Ice is fantastic, right? And Ghost is cool because you're hitting a lot of stuff neutrally, although Shadow Ball isn't a fantastic move, but we take those, right? The real nice boon about this mon is it gets Nasty Plot. So it's like, it's the Ice type with probably the best boosting option in the game, right? Like the best special attacking boosting option in the game, which is cool. This mon doesn't get Freeze Dry, and that's so sad, man. If this mon got Freeze Dry, I think it'd be in solid picks. It would be a good alternative to Glaceon if you want a Mega Pokemon, but the fact that no Freeze Dry just really sucks. You do get Thunderbolt, but it would have been cool to be able to ignore that Walkenberry, you know? Another thing about Frostlass is, you know, similar, like it's Mega Meganium Syndrome, man. I feel like the base form just doesn't have enough good stats. You have like 80 or 85 special attack, which is just not cutting it at all. Even after Mega Evolving, your special attack stat is not even that far off from Glaceon. I think it's like 140 as opposed to Glaceon's 130 or some shit like that. Like, it's 10 to 15 point difference, so it's not even all that great. It's still high, and especially after a Nasty Plot, it's going to be really threatening, don't get me wrong. But personally, if you ask me, if I wanted an Ice type right now, like an offensive boosting special attacking Ice type, Glaceon's it. Glaceon is just it, man. I don't put Frostlass straight up in the outclassed here because I do think it has a niche because like Thunderbolt is cool, right? Like Thunderbolt plus Nasty Plot is cool. I would still use Glaceon over it personally. I don't know. Next up, let's talk about Avalugg. And Avalugg, here's going to be a surprising one for some of y'all, bro. Avalugg is going to solid picks. Yo, this mon is legit as hell. I've ran into this thing like 3 times in tournament, and each time I was like, oh my god, this thing is a demon, bro. Behind dual screens, Avalugg goes where Avalugg pleases, and he doesn't fucking care. You hit this guy with like Swords Dance boosted Flare Blitz off of Megazord X, and he like actually eats that shit. He like brushes it off, and then like he goes to work, and like he doesn't care. Like what? This thing's defense stat is just like comical. It's like 174 or some shit like that. Like, it's ridiculous. Behind a Reflect, like you literally don't care about anything. You have Icicle Crash to deal with the dragon types. Like, this is a ridiculously good answer into Garchomp, guys. It's super good into Garchomp. Behind like dual screens or like after a curse, you do not care about any physical hit at all. And then like Icicle Crash is obliterating Garchomp if it doesn't have a Yachi Berry. You get Stone Edge to deal with Charizard. You get Earthquake, which is one of the best moves in the game at the moment. Like, Avalugg is legit. This mon is legit. Its low speed isn't as relevant in this game because speed isn't as huge of a factor. Citrus Berry is probably something to look out for. Rocky Helmet is another option. There's a lot of good options on Avalugg. Maybe Expert Belt could help you get some KOs where you normally wouldn't. Avalugg is legit, man. I've seen this thing in a couple of my games in bracket, and every time I saw it, it went stupid, bro. Also, out of all the tournaments that DATSA has hosted, 2 of the winning teams, I think, were Avalugg. So, crazy, man. This mon is legit. Do not sleep on Avalugg, bro. I don't see it often, but when I do, it always goes stupid. All right, so let's talk about Heracross. Heracross, I was going to put an outclass, but no, I'm putting this thing in niche, right? It has a niche, right? Its niche is I have 180 base fucking attack. That is comical. That's actually like comedic levels of like 180 attack is ridiculous. That's like more than like fucking Deoxys attack. I'm pretty sure it might even, I think that's actually the same stat as Deoxys attack, right? And if that wasn't enough, because for fun, it has Swords Dance, right? So Swords Dance boosted like Mega Heracross Close Combat is like, bro, skull emoji. Like, if you don't resist that, like, you're probably just gonna get blown up if you're not like a defensive Pokemon. If you're like any offensive threat that doesn't resist that, you're probably just gonna go one shot. It's a ridiculous amount of damage. You get Rock Blast for coverage versus like flying types and stuff like that. Mega Horn is, Bug is not a great offensive type, it never has been, but it's decent in this game because it moves you forward. So Mega Horn kind of reminds me of Head Smash in that instance, right? And no accuracy in this game either, so you can use Mega Horn and it's chill, and that's awesome. The fact that you're quad weak to flying, like, sucks, but it's not super relevant. Like, the only flying move legit in all the Metamons, I would say, is like Gyarados Bounce. That's the only thing you gotta watch out for. Of course, you also gotta watch out for like the fire type moves and your other weaknesses as a Bug, fighting type, but still, like, this mon is legit. The fact that it has 180 attack plus Swords Dance carves it a niche of like, I'm going to do unga bunga big damage, and there's not a whole lot you can do about it. I'm going to force a lot of switches as well. Like, that's another thing about Heracross, right? This thing gets an opportunity to set up, and it megas, like, it's going to blow something up. It's a ridiculous amount of damage. I'm going to put Scrafty in niche. I wouldn't say it's completely outclassed, right? Because of its defensive stats, right? Mega Scrafty has 135 in both defenses, and after a bulk up, I think that can be pretty significant. Your access to Head Smash is also really sick. Head Smash Scrafty, like, destroys Charizard, destroys Gyarados before Mega, destroys the Ice types. Head Smash is a really good move in this game, legit. Like, the recoil sucks, right? But, like, you don't miss, which is awesome, and it moves the Pokemon forward, so it's going to hit a lot of the time. Head Smash is good. You get close combat. I think you get Knockoff as decent dark stat, but the hitbox kind of sucks, so maybe Crunch is better. Mega Scrafty is good. It's good. You're weak to Fairy a lot, so I will expect Mega Scrafty will probably be a lot less playable next format, unfortunately, since Xerneas is going to be everywhere. But right now, it is a niche pick. I think bulk upsets are legit, and I like this mon. I like this mon. Let's talk about Mega Chandelure. So Mega Chandelure is competing with Zard Y as a Mega Special Attacker. You have more Special Attack than Zard Y. I think Zard Y is hitting 159, and Mega Shandy's hitting 175, I think, off the top of my head. On top of this, right, you can actually boost, which is something that Zard Y cannot do, I'm pretty sure. You can boost with Calm Mind, which is, like, crazy. That's going to boost your Special Attack to, like, stupefying levels. You're going to be doing a stupid amount of damage with your Heat Waves, right? On top of that, your defense is also pretty cool. Honestly, dude, I'm pulling this thing in solid picks. Nah, it's not niche. This thing is legit, right? It's kind of like, what does your team want? Whether you choose Zard Y over Shandy, it's like, what does your team want, right? Zard Y gives a valuable immunity to Earthquake. Otherwise, you know, Chandelure is weak to it, right? Chandelure has more defense, and it hits harder, but it's susceptible to Earthquake, right? Which Zard Y is immune to, and that's a big deal, right? Because Earthquake is just everywhere. It's a really good move, especially with Garchomp being as good as it is. Like, Swords Dance, Earthquake, you have good defense as Chandelure, but it's going to do a lot of damage. It's probably going to kill you. So you really have to be careful of Quake, man. That's just, like, the big differentiating factor. But the fact that you have 175 base special attack plus Calm Mind is enough to carve out a niche. It's enough to separate yourself from Zard Y, and it's enough to make Shandy playable in a lot of teams. I've seen it do well. Mega Aggron. So I considered ranking normal Aggron as well. I would put Mega Aggron in niche. 230 base defense is, like, comical. I really, really wish Body Press was in this game. Like, I really wish Body Press was in this game. If Body Press was in this game, I would probably be looking at this a little bit differently, but unfortunately, it's not in the game. Aggron is cool because, like, you can, like, Iron Tail and shit like that, and you're just a physical defensive unit, and it's really cool, and you get, like, Earthquake and a bunch of other good moves, and your attack set is pretty good. Normal Aggron is interesting as well because, like, I considered ranking it. I just didn't because it has no tournament usage, but you can use Head Smash, and you have Stab Head Smash, and that's like a shit ton of damage, which is cool. But you lose Stab on Head Smash upon Mega Evolving, but you also shed your horrible defensive typing, so there is that. Mega Aggron is usable. It definitely has a place. It's not going to fit on every team. Heliolisk. This is another Ampharos victim, man. I'm sorry. I'm putting in an outclassed, right? It gets fire coverage just like Manectric does, but just like Manectric, it's not enough to differentiate itself from Ampharos, man. This is another Ampharos victim. I'm so sorry, man. Heliolisk does have something that the other electrics don't have, though, which is really funny. And honestly, you could make the argument that alone moves it up to niche. You know what? For fun, even though Heliolisk is probably still an outclassed here, I'm going to put it in niche just because Normal Gem, Stab, Hyper Beam is really funny and picks up surprise KOs. Like, that's something that none of the other electrics can do, right? You can use Hyper Beam and it's Stab, and it does a surprising amount of damage with, like, Normal Gem or some shit like that. Magnet is still a good item choice because you can charge Thunderbolt. Hyper Beam is actually kind of funny on this guy. Like, you lose the utility of dual screens, unfortunately, and because of that, I think Amphi's better. But being able to blow shit up with Hyper Beam, right, you can kind of blow up ground types, right? Like Hippo, for example, right? Hippo was a Pokemon that Ampharos would not be able to deal with normally. It forces a switch. With Heliolisk, low-key, if they don't have Dig or if they're attacking someone else, Normal Gem Hyper Beam might just fucking kill them straight up. Because Hippowdon's special defense is not as good as its normal defense, right? So, yeah. Gourgeist. Okay. I'm putting this thing in outclassed. This thing top cut one tournament, and I have no idea how the hell it did it. Listen, Gourgeist believers, please prove me wrong. Tell me why I'm wrong in the comments, and just tell me, like, yo, this mon is good because of this or that. I don't see any redeeming qualities to Gourgeist. Its special attack stat sucks. Like, its physical attack is mediocre. Your bulk is good, right? But, like, what are you doing on this mon, like, defensively, right? Like, setting up Leech Seed, like, that's not good. It gets, I think, Light Screen, but it doesn't get Reflect. Like, if it got both the dual screens, I would be putting it in niche, because it's like Meganium. It's like, okay, I'm a dual screen setter that's bulky, and I can, you know, resist Earthquake, which is kind of cool, right? But, like, it can't even do that. What does Gourgeist do, dude? Like, I've never seen this thing in one of my tournament runs before, but apparently a top cutter tournament. So, it's here just because of that. I don't know what this mon does that's, like, worth talking about over any other ghost type in the game. T-Tar I'm going to put in niche, right? I'm going to put T-Tar in niche, but I expect this mon's stonks are going to go up a lot. I put T-Tar and its Mega both in niche. I expect this mon is going to get a lot better next format. Why? Because we resist Yveltal and we resist Mega Delphox all those stabs. We resist dark, we resist flying, we resist, we're immune to psychic, and we resist fire. And that's super valuable, right? Like AV-T-Tar is going to be some cool ass shit. In terms of Mega though, like, I don't know, I just wouldn't use this over Chomp. Like, you can dig on this thing, sure. Chomp can do the same thing. You can crunch, you have Stab Crunch, it's kind of cool, right? I think you have Ice Punch, right, for other dragons, Thunder Punch, shit like that. But overall, like, I think Mega T-Tar is going to be like... Mega T-Tar is kind of whatever to me. Normal T-Tar right now is a decent Pokemon. I think it has really good bulk. It takes advantage of AV well. It's going to take way better advantage of AV next format, because I expect Delphox and Yveltal are at least going to be experimented with, right, to see if they're good. And while they're being experimented with, T-Tar is so good into those two Pokemon. It's really, really, really good. The Fairy Weakness does kind of suck, though, and, Xerneas will come out to play, so watch out for that. Mega Greninja, right? The only one of the cattle starter megas that are viable right now. I'm putting this thing in niche, right? So this is another special attacking water mega similar to Blastoise and Slowbro. The difference here is that Mega Greninja hits harder, has a bigger special attack stat, and it can even go physical if it wanted to, because you can boost on both ends of the spectrum. You got SD, you got Nasty Plot, right? And it's also way fast than these two other Pokemon. Of course, the trade-off is that you're super frail. Being frail sucks, especially in a world where Thunderbolt is pretty much like a sure hit. It does kind of suck. Thunderbolt can force switches a lot after you Nasty Plot, and that's just kind of really unfortunate. I think that's like the biggest thing that holds Greninja back is like its lack of bulk, right? And the fact that it's super fast is nice for its cooldowns, but it's not like super good in this game. Still though, I mean, like after a Nasty Plot, this thing is hitting pretty hard with like Dark Pulse, Water Shuriken, especially after Mega. Water Shuriken becomes a pretty cracked move, I can't lie. And also Ice Beam is also great. Being a water type means you get mandatory ice coverage, which is great in this format because it can deal with Garchomp, right? So yeah, Greninja's niche, you can make it work, but yeah, it's not going to fit on every team, for sure. Skarm. Mega Skarm is legit. This is a mon that you could make the argument for meta defining. I'm going to put it there. You know what? I'm putting it there. Like, I was thinking about putting this thing in solid picks over meta defining, but I'm going to put it in meta defining. I see it enough to put it up here. Being a steel type that's immune to Earthquake is super cool, and after Mega, you're doing a lot of damage after Swords Dance, and you get good coverage too. Drill Run is great to hit opposing steel types, right? Iron Head and Steel Wing are your options for Steel Stab, and then Brave Bird, right? Brave Bird is just hitting super hard after Mega Evolution after Swords Dance, right? I was talking about how powerful Life Orb, Swords Dance, Talonflame, Brave Bird can be, but like imagine Skarm, right? Has a higher attack stat and also gets Swords Dance. So you don't have Life Orb, right? But Mega Skarm, again, you have the higher attack stat, and I'm using plus Brave Bird 100% of the time, right? Mega Skarm is good, man. Having a Steel type that's not weak to Earthquake is super nice roll compression. You fit the criteria of having a Steel type on your team, which could be beneficial for a multitude of reasons, right? And you also fit the bill of now you have a Flying type, so now you have a switch into Quake, and that's super valuable. Of course, since you're a Flying type, you gotta be wary of Thunderbolt, but you have Drill Run as counterplay, so yeah, if you get that off first, it's going to be bad news for like Ampharos, right? Mega Salamence, I would put in Outclassed. I don't see a reason to use this mon over like Garchomp personally. It gets good coverage, it gets like Hydro Pump, it gets Fire Blast, so I guess its coverage is better than Chomp, but like Chomp's 170 attack stat after Mega is just so ridiculous after Swords Dance, like you're just going to start blowing shit up. Salamence does have the Dragon Rush Fly combo, which I talked about with Mega Zardex, and it is pretty cool. I just, as a physical Dragon type Mega, I see no reason to use anything other than Garchomp right now, man. It's a similar conundrum to Ampharos, where Ampharos is making all the other special electric types not viable, and Garchomp is kind of making all the other physical, especially Mega Dragon types, kind of not viable, right? Except for Zardex, because Zardex is, not being quad weak to Ice is cool, and it's a Fire type, which is cool, right? But like the rest of them, like, like D-Knight and Mega Mence, both share the quad ice weakness with Garchomp, so they don't stand out as much, it's not, they can't really carve a niche like Mega Zardex can. Drampa's an interesting case, right? I'm going to put Drampa in niche because its coverage options are really cool, and Hyper Beam is nuclear. Hyper Beam off of like 165 or 160 special, I think it's 160. That's doing a lot of damage, man. And your coverage is great. You got Heat Wave, you got Thunderbolt, you got Ice Beam to deal with the opposing dragons, right? You got Calm Mind if you want to go the boosting route. I don't like Mega Drampa for similar reasons that I don't like Mega D-Knight, where it's like I have infinite coverage, but I feel like nothing is ever killing. But Mega Drampa does have a higher special attack set than Mega D-Knight does, I'm pretty sure. So there is that. Drampa, again, like a lot of the mons in niche tier, you got to build around, but it's legit. You can make this thing work. And finally, Metagross, right? This should come to no surprise to anyone. Metagross is meta-defining, 100%. You need to prepare for this thing. I would say Metagross is probably the best screen setter in the game. Like, its main competition is Ampharos, right? Metagross is bulkier, which is cool, and hits harder on the physical side. Ampharos, on the other hand, like, you don't have as good coverage, and you are less bulky, but Thunderbolt is broken, and you can use Charge to make it even more broken. Metagross, on the other hand, like, you can go so many different sets with this guy. You can go, like, Power Up Punch Offensive with a Mega set, which is super good. You can also go Screens, right, like I was talking about. My favorite set is Screens plus Bolt Beam, but you can fit you can fit Metagross's moveset to whatever your, team needs. Metagross is a Pokemon that will commonly forego Stab because its coverage is just that good. You got the Elemental Punches, you got Earthquake, you got Heavy Slam is like the only Stab that I ever see, right? Heavy Slam is legit. Power Punch is your boosting option. Like, it's not bad. You can even blow up if you wanted to. One of the premier screen setters in the game, 100%. You got to be ready for this thing. I should also mention the popular item choices for non-Mega Metagross, like Expert Belt is super good to ensure your elemental punches are getting the KOs that they need to. Citrus Berry's good, Shulka's good. Okay, so this is the final tier list, ignoring the no tournament play. I think I'm pretty content with this. I don't think I'm 100% correct on everything that I said in this video, but these are my opinions on very early, the game's in its very early lifespan, and we're getting a format change soon, so this could be flipped on its head. This isn't final. It's very possible that some of the mons that I said were bad or outclassed are going to become a lot better. I've been really enjoying competitive ZA. I play in tournaments. If you're interested in the tournaments that I play in, I will have them in a pinned comment, and I will be making a YouTube short soon promoting all of them. So yeah, if you're interested in more competitive Pokemon ZA content, like I said, I'm a tournament player. I'm going to be making content geared for other tournament players and people who really want to get into this game competitively, which I feel is kind of lacking on YouTube. A lot of people are just making content to milk this game and say, oh, this Pokemon's broken, I got to A rank with it. Yeah, getting to A rank doesn't mean shit, dude. So yeah, if you're interested in any of that, feel free to stick around. This is my final tier list for this game for the moment, and that being said, I will see you guys around. Take care, and yeah, later.